This is a song I wrote called Long is a Summer's Day, and I wrote it for my mother, and it's for all mothers today. My mama wore fur-lined boots as she walked downtown. She was a brown-haired beauty from Massachusetts when she moved here. She bought a ring, it was carnelian, with her first paycheck. Later on, when the leaves turned red, her camel's hair coat I love you long as a summer's day. I love the way you are. I love you long as a summer's day. I love the way you are. She met our father at Doug's Diner. That's long been gone. She sat next to him, his blue eyes and his black hair. I love you long as a summer's day. I love the way you are. I love you long as a summer's day. I love the way you are. I make mistakes, I stub my toe, I can't find the phone. The rain comes down and I cry like a baby. It rains harder and I'm such a fool. I love you long as a summer's day. I love the way you are. I love you long as a summer's day. I love the way you are. My mama wore fur-lined boots as she walked downtown. She was a brown-haired beauty from Massachusetts when she moved here.
Hi everyone, it's Reverend Kimmery Glenn. I'm blessed to be with you all this evening, honoring the Mother in us all. I'm here at beautiful All Souls and just getting to appreciate Mother Earth. So this service is for her and dedicated to all of the mothers out there. And all of you who have mothers, of course. If we're here, we have a mother. Some of us, can have difficult relationship with our mother. Some of us have very close relationships. So honoring all of it, honoring the mother in all. And the part of us who actually mothers ourselves and mothers so many different things in life. Tends the earth, tends to all the things in life that need tending. So grateful for this evening to take the time to do that together. And I just want to start off with a couple announcements about things that are going on at All Souls. One of them just being, I wanted to really thank our lead pastor, Reverend Don Chatfield. He's been mothering All Souls in such a beautiful way. And I wanted to take this service to just say thank you for your mothering, Don, for your guidance, for your nurturing of this community, and then to everyone, staff, to volunteers, to people who are continuing just to help and step up in this community. Thank you for mothering this community. There's a couple things going on in the community and continue to, like our morning meditation services. They're every Sunday morning from 9 to 10, and John Howe is now doing a Wednesday night meditation, and that is from 7:30 to, I believe, about a little after 8:15. And then we have a couple other things going on. We still have our groups and our men's group, our Search for Meaning group going on. I want to highlight Sandra Lee. She has a workshop coming up on May 9th, and it sounds wonderful. It's called Embracing Transformation. It's online, and you can get all the details on our website. I believe there's actual deals going on right now where I think it's $15 a person, so great opportunity. And I also just wanted to thank Sue Dixon and Dave Dixon and all of you who gave to the virtual COTS walk. COTS standing for the Committee on Temporary Shelter. We raised the most money that we ever have. We raised over $1,500. I think it was around $1,525, which is the most we ever have. And I just love to think of how that is going to go out and tend a lot of people's lives. So I love what our community does together. Thank you. And just a couple other things before we go into our opening words is I just want to give a warm welcome. We have a lot of guests this evening. Like I said, Reverend Don Chatfield, our lead pastor, will be speaking. I want to introduce our musician for the evening. Her name is Mary McGinnis, and she's been here before. Welcome back, Mary. And Mary is a local musician. She's going to play a couple of her original pieces as well. And she is inspired by rock and roll and folk and jazz and poetry. So grateful to have her back. And we have a lot of musical guests this evening. Juliet McFicker, longtime friend of All Souls, and someone for me who embraces that beautiful feminine mother quality, the divine feminine in her. So welcome, Juliet. We're going to re-welcome Melanie Sroka for playing Gathered Here, and even June Bear the dog, who's going to show up in one of the musical pieces. So welcome to all of you. Grateful to weave this evening together and to be with you all. And I wanted to start our opening words. They're by a man named David Suzuki. I loved these words. I hope you love them as much as I do. He says, "The way that we see the world shapes the way that we treat it. So if a mountain is a deity, not a pile of ore. If a river is one of the veins in the land, not potential irrigation water. If a forest is a sacred grove, not timber. And if other species are biological kin, not resources. Or if the planet is our mother, not an opportunity, then we will treat each other with greater respect. Thus is the challenge to look at the world from a different perspective." So I hope this evening we'll all get to look through the world with the eyes of the mother, birthing new ways of being through this changing time, these changing times. And seeing the world and tending the world with the eyes of the divine feminine and the mother.
This evening's chalice reading comes from Claudine Oliva. We light this chalice for mothers and mothering, to celebrate those who have taken on the task of nurturing a young one, baby, child, or youth, into adulthood. To celebrate those who have nourished the light of truth and compassion in growing minds and hearts. To celebrate those who have committed time, money, energy to the growth of others in this world. Tonight we light this chalice to celebrate and hold dear this flame of love. And may this flame bring light and love to all mothers of the world.
And all the money ere I had, I spent it in good company. And all the harm there I've done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. And if I had the money ere I spent, and the leisure time to sit a while, there is a maid in this town who surely has my heart beguiled. Her rosy cheeks and ruby lips, I own she has my heart enthralled. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. And to all the comrades ere I had, they are sorry for my going away. And all the sweethearts ere I love, they wish me one more day to stay. And since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, So I gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be with you all. So fill to me the parting glass, good night and joy be with you all.
Happy Mother's Day. It's a special day across our country as families gather together, perhaps virtually this year, to express love and appreciation to our mothers for all they have done in our lives. In fact, just earlier this afternoon, Karen and I joined via Zoom with her mother and family members to express gratitude for her mom's presence in our lives. It's a day that's full of flowers and special cards, gifts that are given, all expressions of the gratitude that we hold toward our mothers for the way they've shaped us and cared for us. We also recognize on Mother's Day that it's a difficult day for some. For those who had a difficult relationship with their mother or didn't know their biological mother. For those who wished to become mothers but were not able. Or for those who are overcome with grief about the loss of a mother. We remember all of these and we hold you in our hearts with compassion today as well. As an interfaith community, I think we are uniquely positioned to learn from many of the world's faith traditions about motherhood and specifically about the feminine nature of the divine. Now, over the past 50 or 60 years, the women's movement has done much to break down old stereotypes that limited women in their roles, and in many cases, limited men as well. And so we've been able to learn about and to celebrate women's mathematical knowledge that allowed us to land on the moon. Women who have excellent knowledge and decision-making capabilities to lead corporations or governments. About women who are able to lead us in ways that we hadn't envisioned or allowed before. And so as we consider feminine aspects of the divine, I think it's important that we do so in a way that doesn't reinforce old stereotypes, but instead celebrates the ability of women and men to embrace attributes of both the feminine and the masculine. And tonight I'd like to choose 3 themes from 3 different faith traditions that I think illustrate this in a healthy way. I'd like to start with Hinduism and look first at the Hindu concept of the divine as creator and liberator. And there's no better example in the Hindu teaching than the goddess Kali. The name Kali, K-A-L-I, comes from the Sanskrit root word kal, K-A-L, which means time. And so Kali is really about the fullness of time realized. And she is understood by Hindus as the mother of the earth, of the universe. One of the most important things about the attribute of Kali as the feminine divine is that she brings death to the ego. She brings death to the illusion of what constitutes the self. If you think about it, there are 2 ways that we can understand ourselves. One is an illusion, or what I often refer to as the mirage self, that's not really there. And we often frame that in terms of our body, the way our body looks, or our possessions, or our education, or our profession. But Kali strips away all of those attributes to help us focus directly on the authentic self, the true I am. Now, Ma Kali is considered to be the kindest and most loving of all the Hindu goddesses. And she's regarded, as I mentioned a moment ago, by her devotees as the mother of the entire universe. And because of her terrible appearance, she's also seen as a great protector. If you've ever seen any depictions of Kali, you know that she is fearsome. But she's also compassionate because she provides moksha, or liberation, to all of her children. She's the destroyer of unreality. She helps us move past the ego. But the ego trembles in fear when it sees Kali, because the ego sees in Kali its eventual demise. But a mature soul, one who practices spiritual discipline to remove the illusion of the ego, sees Mother Kali as a very sweet, affectionate, and overflowing with incomprehensible love for all of her children. I mentioned the fearsome appearance of Kali. If you've ever seen a depiction, she wears a garland of skulls and a skirt of human arms. And she's depicted that way because the ego often arises out of a false sense of self based on the body. It's so easy for us to come to the wrong conclusion that we are these skin suits that we are wearing around. But in truth, we are beings of spirit and not of flesh. So liberation can only proceed when our attachment to the body ends. So the garland and the skirt are symbols of our liberation from this false attachment to the body. In depictions of Kali, she's often shown as having black or sometimes blue skin. And this represents the womb of the quantum unmanifest, that which has not yet been called into creation. And recognizing that all creation arises from and is born from this place. So Kali and our understanding about this divine work of liberating us from unreality, I think it raises some important questions for us today. The first is, how are you empowering creation in your life? Are you creating a space for new things to be born, to arise? And the second question is, are you open to being liberated from that which is false, to move from the unreal to the real? And are you equipped to help others in their liberation as well? Attributes of the feminine divine. The next example comes from the Hebrew faith, and it's the concept of the divine as nourisher. Now, you know, one of the, I think, revolutionary concepts of Hebrew theology was that it conceptualized God as neither male nor female. If you go back to the creation story in Genesis, you'll remember it teaches that the first man and first woman were created in the image and likeness of God, meaning that God contains both male and female attributes. Now, in the tribes and practices and rituals around the Israelites, there were many expressions of faith that had goddesses and gods carved with exaggerated expressions of their femininity or their masculinity. None of that's present in Hebrew teaching. God is viewed as beyond gender. Now, of course, there are plenty of references in the Hebrew scriptures about God as male, but there are also references to the divine feminine aspects of God. One of them is found in Isaiah chapter 49, verses 15 through 16, where it says this: "Can a mother forget the baby at her breast and have no compassion for the child she has borne? Though she may forget, I will not forget you. See, I have engraved you on the palm of my hand. Your walls are ever before me." And this image of God as a sustainer, one who feeds and nourishes, is not limited to this one passage in Hebrew scripture. The idea of God providing sustenance also appears in the book of Exodus as the Israelites are wandering in the desert, and God provides manna from heaven to nourish their physical needs. And every day they would go out and gather up these baskets of bread provided by divine care, gathering more than they needed, more than enough to sustain them, nourish them, and to help them to grow. Now, I don't know about you, but this vision of the feminine divine as providing ample nourishment resonates with my experience with my mother. Mom always made sure there was plenty of food on the table. And it was clearly an expression of her love for us, the care that she put into preparing it and making sure that we had enough. There's a story about little Billy at school one day. He was learning his fractions, and the teacher asked him, "Billy, let's say that your mom bakes a pie, and there are 7 of you sitting down to eat. Tell me, how much of the pie will you get?" And Billy said, "Oh, that's easy. I get 1/6." And the teacher said, "Billy, remember, there are 7 of you sitting down to the table. I'm not sure you know your fractions." And he replied to the teacher, "Well, you don't know my mom. She'd say, 'Oh, I don't want any pie. You eat it.'" And that kind of selfless sharing, selfless provision is what we hear in the Hebrew teachings about the feminine aspect of God, making sure that we have plenty of nourishment. And so the questions that this poses for us today are these: are you providing sustenance for others? Now, I don't mean just in the way of providing money or a roof, but are you providing sustenance in the form of meaning and compassion, forgiveness, and love? If so, you're expressing the feminine divine. Next, I'd like to consider another concept of the feminine divine from Christianity, and that's the concept of the divine as protector. In the Christian scripture, we find a day when Jesus was teaching, and he says this: "How often I have longed to gather you children together, as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and you were not willing." What a powerful image of protection and love, being gathered together under the wings of the divine. But sometimes we don't allow that. When Karen and I lived in Arizona, one of the things that I loved about spring is that we could count on a mother quail to hatch some new baby quail in a flower pot on our porch. It was great fun to watch, and one of the things that was amazing was that after each of the eggs hatched, the mother would settle down on the nest with her wings outstretched over all the young birds, providing them protection from the desert predators. Now, at some point, the young ones were ready to get out of the nest, and they did so when they were still quite little, just little guys, and they would jump out and go on excursions with their mother. And it was so amazing to watch her herding them about. But invariably, one of the young quail would get distracted and wander off. The mother was always aware of that, and while keeping the others together, was able to bring the one who wasn't paying attention back into the fold. So like those little baby quail, it's so easy for us to become distracted, to wander away from safety and from protection. The safety of the divine wingspan is always present if we're willing to find it and to settle there. So the questions that this poses for us today include these. How are we providing protection for the most vulnerable in our communities? How are we spreading our wings to care for them, to keep them from harm? How can we express more of the feminine divine? I'm very proud of All Souls because last Sunday, the Committee on Temporary Shelter, which cares for those experiencing homelessness in our metro area, the Committee on Temporary Shelter held a virtual walk to raise money for this important work. And our team more than raised our goal, expressing a deep commitment of the All Souls community to provide this kind of protection and care for the least free among us. Now, according to the book Benefits Forgot, President Abraham Lincoln once summoned Dr. Jason Wilkins, an Army surgeon, to the White House. Now, Dr. Wilkins assumed that he was being summoned to be commended for some good work that he had done. But during the conversation, President Lincoln asked the major about his widowed mother. "She's doing fine," the doctor responded. "How do you know?" asked Lincoln. "You haven't written her, but she has written me. And she thinks you are dead, and she's asking that a special effort be made to return your body home." And at that, the commander-in-chief placed a pen in the young doctor's hand and ordered him to write a letter letting his mother know that he was alive and well. And when the letter was finished, Lincoln gently impressed upon the doctor the importance of gratitude for maternal care and love. If your mother is living, I hope you have written or called recently. If she's not alive, I hope you gently hold her in your memory on this day. But more than that, it's my hope, it's my prayer that we all express thanks to the feminine divine that liberates us, frees us from illusion, that feeds us, nourishes and sustains us, and protects us. By expressing gratitude to Mother Earth, to the loving expressions of our family and friends, for the bounty all around us, we can honor the Mother in all. I wish you many blessings in the week to come.
I've been talked about, I've been locked up, I've been shut out. I had some bad dreams, and I'm filled with regret. I made a mess of things, I've been a total wreck. I've been disrespected and taken for a ride. Had my patience tried. I look at the world in all its glory. I look at the world, it's a different story each time. I look at the world. I've been used, I've been out of work, I've been abused and lied to. I've been left behind, I've been misunderstood. I've been out of my mind, not feeling good. I've been lost, I've been turned away. I hated power, and then there's hell to pay. I look at the world in all its glory. I look at the world, it's a different story each time. I look at the world. I've been unforgiven, I've been let down. I had the truth heard, I've been kicked around. I've been wasted, I've been on the brink. Had my faith tested, my spirit sink. I've been unwelcome, and I've been unloved, been cheated on, made a fool of. I look at the world and all its glory. I look at the world, it's a different story each time. I look at the world in all its glory. I look at the world, it's a different story each time. I look at the world.
It's time now for prayers and meditation in our service. And so I invite you, wherever you're watching, to find a comfortable spot to join us. That might be on your meditation mat, it might be in a comfortable chair, wherever you can stop and find a place of stillness. And so as you settle into this place, I invite you to join with me in taking a nice deep breath all the way in, holding it at the top for just a moment, and then exhaling slowly and gently, noticing the feeling of the air as it leaves our bodies, and beginning to let go of the cares of the world, and turning our thoughts, our hearts, toward connection with the divine. And if you'd like to take another deep breath all the way in, releasing it slowly and allowing your eyes to be gently closed. Here in this place of stillness and calm and peace. And I invite you now to call into your mind's eye an image of your mother and to hold her there with gentleness and compassion. And noticing whatever emotions, whatever feelings arise as you hold your mother here. Just noticing those emotions, no judgment, just accepting those feelings as they arise. And I invite you now to send love, gratitude, and compassion to your mother. As we make our way through life, there are many who provide maternal protection and care for us. They may be the mothers of friends, they may be aunts or grandmothers, they may be teachers. So I invite you now to allow into your mind's eye others who have mothered you, others who have sustained you, protected you, liberated you. Notice who comes to mind and hold them here in love and compassion. And in this sweet space of peace and stillness, I suggest that you extend to them as well gratitude, love, and compassion. And now I invite you to hold a question in your heart as we pray and meditate together. And that question is, where are my opportunities to provide maternal strength to others, to liberate them, to sustain them, to protect them? And as we listen with the ear of our heart, just notice what opportunities come into your heart. And this prayer is for ourselves. I encourage you to pray for the strength, the courage, and the clarity to offer this maternal guidance and sustenance as we are called. And so in these extraordinary times where it's easy to be fearful, easy to be uncertain about the future. We give great gratitude for mothers, for those who sustain us and protect us, for those who help us to see past illusions. And it's our prayer this evening that we will nurture these maternal characteristics within each other as we reach forward to the world we want to create together. We release all of these thoughts now into the mind of the universe with great thanksgiving and the knowledge that they are already coming to pass. And so it is. Amen. At this time in our service, we collect our offering. Of course, these days we're doing that virtually. And the easiest way to do that is to go to our website, to the home page. And at the bottom of that page, you'll find a button that you can click to make a donation to the work of All Souls. We're so grateful for all of you who are giving regularly. It's making a huge difference during this time of limited revenue. And it's our tradition to bless these offerings that we're giving, whether they be financial or offerings of time or talent. And we do that by extending our hand and wrapping it around metaphorically, whatever it is that we're giving, and saying this blessing. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give.
I'm gonna let it shine, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Deep within my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Deep within my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Deep within my heart, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine, even in my yard. I'm gonna let it shine, even in my yard. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Our closing words this evening are actually pagan. It's a pagan chant. It's the lyrics from a pagan chant, and we just had Beltane and the pagan and druid tradition, so I thought I'd honor with a song from that tradition, as well as I felt like it was a wonderful song to carry us into the evening. To me, the song is about mothering our own child. We all have a child within us, and there's a part of us all, if we're female or male, that we still have to mother this child that's inside of us. That's part of the healing process. So these are the lyrics, and then I'll sing it through 3 times, and you can sing with me, and we'll sing our way out of the evening. But this is dedicated to all of you amazing mothers who do and hold so much. And I'm not talking just about the females, because we all mother something. We all mother ourselves. We may mother something passionate in our world, a job or music, or we may create something. We may mother a friend and nurture a friend. We may nurture the earth. So there's so many different ways to mother something. Those of us who tend gardens are mothers of the garden. So this song is to everyone. And the lyrics go like this. The river she is flowing, flowing and growing. The river she is flowing, down to the sea. Oh, mother, carry me, your child I will always be. Oh, mother, carry me, down to the sea. The river she is flowing, flowing and growing. The river she is flowing, down to the sea. Oh, mother, carry me, your child I will always be. Oh, mother, carry me, down to the sea. The river she is flowing, flowing and growing. The river she is flowing, down to the sea. Oh, mother, carry me, your child I will always be. Oh, mother, carry me, down to the sea. The river she is flowing, flowing and growing. The river she is flowing, down to the sea. Oh, mother, carry me, your child I will always be. Oh, mother, carry me, down to the sea. May you all have a beautiful week. Mothers, tenders of yourself, tenders of your own inner child, tenders of each other, tenders of this earth. Have an amazing week. Much love to you all.